I had just opened my eyes. Then I had returned to the high school era of my wife. But this time I had made up my mind, wanting to live in a different way. The only thing I needed to do was to be a silent observer standing outside, watching her with my own eyes, embracing the life that originally belonged to her, that dazzling radiance. Even though in that beauty there was no existence of me, I was also willing to accept it wholeheartedly. Ding ding ding. Clang. 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 The class bell rang out. The sound was both clear and resonant, momentarily piercing through the entire school campus. The noisy atmosphere from just now, in an instant, was suppressed by this bell. Everything returned to silence. High school days were like that. The relaxing time between classes ended in the blink of an eye. The corridor of the teaching building gradually became empty of people. In the air, there still lingered the scent of preparing to dive into the sea of knowledge, of textbooks and assignments, the chaotic footsteps of students from before, and those whispering voices, at this moment, seemed to be smoothed into silence by something. Everything merged into a stream of people, silently, returning to their own classrooms. I huddled in the very last corner of the back row. After all, this position was almost like being exiled to the border. No one cared about this interference from me. My eyes had never left the classroom door, just staring fixedly at the girl who had just stepped in. Her name was Willow like mist. The name sounds nice, doesn't it? Hee hee. As soon as I realized the corner of my mouth had unconsciously curled up, revealing that standard infatuated smile, I immediately raised my hand and slapped my left cheek. She wore a very light pair of glasses on the bridge of her nose. The eyes behind the glasses seemed a bit tired. The dark circles underneath were quite pronounced. No need to think. I knew. She must have stayed up late doing homework again last night. In the crowd of students wearing identical uniforms. Actually, she didn't stand out at all. But this girl who could be thrown into a crowd and not be found was the famous top academic in our year. The position of first place in the natural sciences track she had held for a full 3 years. That was my future wife. No, that's wrong. Now, I had returned. Her life would be completely different. She would become a shining star in the field of aerospace, or in the world of physics. A professor respected by everyone. Who knows? She might even rival figures like Hawking. But she absolutely would no longer be my wife, nor have any connection whatsoever with a scoundrel like me. Seeing that the seats were almost fully taken, I reluctantly glanced at her one last time, then withdrew my gaze, untied the long-sleeved jacket tied at my waist, put on the school uniform properly. The homeroom father held a stack of test papers, hurriedly walked into the classroom, his face extremely serious. "Students, we are doing a pop quiz." The emotionless voice of the homeroom father had shattered the silence in the classroom. The students below immediately exploded, but they only dared to whisper complaints for a few sentences, then had no choice but to resign themselves and start rummaging for pens and paper. My eyebrows also furrowed. In my heart, it was called annoyance. Honestly, living again once more. The student era only had this that was the most uncomfortable. 2 days small tests, 3 days big exams. I secretly sighed, closed the book that was cleaner than my face, casually tossed it into the pile of books, heaped under the floor on my left side. This book I had struggled so much to fish out from the pile of books. In the end, it was completely unused. Willow, like mist, as usual, stood up and walked to the podium, received the stack of test papers from the homeroom father's hand. She counted the quantity, then began distributing them one by one to the students in the front row. After distributing, she dusted off her clothes and stepped down, sat straight back in her seat, her back straight as a ramrod, tore a scratch paper from the top of the stack of books, placed it under her right hand. Most of the faces of everyone in the class were hung with expressions of sorrow. Only Willow like mist and I had equally calm expressions. Of course, she was because of confidence in her own strength, while I, purely because I already knew in advance what score I would get. He couldn't expect a poor student who had graduated many years ago to do well on a math test. Moreover, this was a math test paper. In the classroom rang the faint sound of paper rustling. Willow, like mist, received the test paper from the hand of the desk mate in front. Heard the deskmate in front say top student. Let me bask in some of your aura. She only smiled faintly. When she raised her elbow, the uniform sleeve slid down, revealing a segment of dazzlingly white arm. Until the rustling sound transmitted, the test paper got closer to me. Only then did I realize I had been staring at Willow like mist in a daze again. I really couldn't control myself. Slapped my right cheek again. The stinging pain on my face finally forced me to tear my gaze that was glued to her back. Down. I looked up and scanned the progress of distributing the test papers. Estimating it was almost my turn, I timed the distance perfectly, extended 2 fingers over the shoulder of the deskmate in front. Seeing the burn scar on the index finger, I unconsciously reached into my pants pocket, then pulled out a lighter and half a pack of cigarettes. Oh. In my previous life at school, regular knowledge I didn't learn a single bit, but miscellaneous bad habits I nurtured plenty. The test papers were still rustling as they were passed down, but unexpectedly the deskmate in front of me turned around, said softly to me, "It's over." After saying that, he immediately turned back, began burying his head in battling the test questions. I was as happy as a fairy. "It's over, huh? This is too perfect. Only fools would want to do this thing." I hadn't even had time to be happy for a few seconds, when I felt the homeroom father's gaze sweep lightly over my side. He had just discovered my desk was empty. His eyebrows immediately furrowed. That face, which was already quite worried, now looked even more stern, making me want to go up and help him smooth out those wrinkles. However, remembering that in my previous life this homeroom father had invested in stocks and made a fortune, later on, his comings and goings all had an air of grace, I gave up that idea. Just let him furrow. Anyway, there weren't many years left to furrow. In the future, nothing would trouble him. The corner of my mouth curled up, facing him. I flashed a radiant smile, like a sunny young boy. As a result, I saw his eyebrows furrow even tighter, his expression as if he had seen a living ghost. The smile at the corner of my mouth immediately froze. Unexpectedly, his expression quickly returned to normal, even seemed somewhat relieved. What the hell are you doing? In my previous life, at most I didn't like studying, didn't do anything too excessive, at most just wasted the precious time of his top student. That was all. Thinking of this, the strength in my heart suddenly vanished. My head also drooped, eyes downcast. Willow, like mist. In this life, you will never get involved with a scoundrel like me again. I was sitting here wallowing in sorrow, healing my psychological wounds alone, when suddenly a guest uninvited appeared in front of me. A snow-white test paper made my head throb with pain. I followed the index finger, with calluses, looked up, just in time to meet the eyes, completely emotionless, of Willow, like mist. "You do this sheet first. I'll go ask for another one." Her high ponytail swept across my nape, slightly bowed her head, eyelashes drooping like butterfly wings. My heart suddenly stirred, the hand propping my chin also unconsciously lowered. I finally remembered. This was exactly the moment I was reborn. It was this time Willow, like mist, showed equal kindness to every student, had opened the ill-fated connection between us in the previous life. In the previous life I had accepted this test paper, then scribbled nonsense on it, my mind full of Willow like mist's name. After that, Willow like mist was truly ruined by this damn thing. That was me who refused to study. Right when she was about to turn away, I suddenly stood up abruptly, made a choice completely opposite to the previous life. I snatched the test paper, directly stuffed it back into her hand, carelessly touched the palm of her hand. Damn it. So soft. Exactly like when I touched it in the previous life. I pretended to snort coldly with contempt, one hand in my pants pocket, avoided Willow like mist's puzzled gaze, then provocatively looked up at the homeroom father on the podium. "Anyway, I don't know how to do it. Too lazy to write." I bluntly dropped this sentence, because the commotion was quite loud. Many classmates who were burying their heads in studying turned back, sneakily looked at me. People like me and these obedient, honest students were completely two different worlds. But this very incompatibility for them had an inexplicable attraction. Therefore, in the previous life, even though my grades were disastrously bad, There were still not a few teenage girls who secretly admired me. No choice. Those innocent girls were always easily captivated by bad students like me. Willow, like mist, was still dazed in place, for a moment unable to react. Combined with her black-framed glasses, made her whole person look even more bewildered. Damn it. Adorably deadly. I swallowed my saliva, afraid that looking more would backfire. Immediately turned my head, while the homeroom father was angrily puffing his cheeks. I took large strides out of the classroom. I was just not good at studying. Not bad in character. Although I didn't study, I couldn't affect the studying of other classmates. Arriving at the door, I even specially waved very naturally to the homeroom father, as a farewell. No wonder in the previous life, Willow, like mist, was pursued by me. This damn charm of mine really was. I held my head high and stepped out of the classroom door. The homeroom father's gaze, like a searchlight shining straight at me. I took a lap around the grade teacher's office first, wandered there for a while, then hugged my face and went to the school gate. As a result, my foot hadn't even stepped out of the gate when I was blocked by the guard uncle. I bent down and then remembered I was still wearing the school uniform. I argued with him there for a long time, said a bunch of nice words, but he still wouldn't let me out. That fork-shaped object in his hand was always blocking across my neck. No choice. I glanced at his fingers, yellowed from cigarette smoke, immediately pulled out a cigarette from my pocket and lit it, slowly brought it to his mouth. Then, while he was surprised, I flicked my wrist and threw the ash away. A beautiful arc curved through the ash, precisely, fell onto the newspaper on the guard table. Yes. 3-pointer. While the guard uncle picked up his teacup, without any effort, to extinguish that small flame. When he looked up again, he only saw the smell of my foot sweat left behind as I ran far away. After running a distance, I turned back, looked at the teaching building, standing towering among a row of high rises, pinched my index and middle fingers together and placed them on my forehead. Farewell, my youth. Okay. Step 1 of the moon plan successfully completed perfectly. The sky color was like a painter using light shades, gently painting the shops along the street, one by one, opening their doors. The breakfast shop steaming hot, aroma floating everywhere. A wisp of fragrance entered my nose. My stomach immediately contracted. Only now did I realize I hadn't eaten breakfast. I rummaged through all my jacket and pants pockets, turned everything inside out. In total only gathered 2 yuan and 5 jiao. I was really poor when I was young. Whatever. More important to do proper business. In front were the skyscrapers. It had been too long since I returned. I momentarily couldn't find where my doghouse from back then was. I had to expend a lot of effort to, from that hazy memory, fish out a path. The alley was very narrow. The greenery on both sides grew extremely lush. The branches of the old sophora tree drooped down, gently brushing the shoulders of passers-by. No mistake. It was this rundown residential area. The wall plaster was mottled and peeling. On it still visible the traces of my childish graffiti. I ran straight up the stairs, looked at the dilapidated wooden door in front of me, took a deep breath, then lifted my foot and kicked straight in. Only heard a loud bang. On my foot transmitted a sensation both numb and painful. Ouch. It hurt me to death. Ow. My foot hurt so much I grinned and stared. Paused for 2 seconds. Then looked at the door, though chipped in many places. But the lock was unusually sturdy. I frowned tightly. Damn it. How come I never noticed before that this rotten door was so solid? Luckily, the noise just now had woken the drunkard inside. I heard rustling sounds coming from inside the house. I used my tongue to push against my back teeth. The old man, as soon as he opened the door and saw it was me, on his face drunk from the night before, clearly written 2 words of shock. He narrowed his eyes to look at the sky outside. What are you back for? He asked, a sentence full of disgust. Then grabbed the bottle of alcohol beside him, gulped down a big mouthful. I glanced at the messy scene inside the house, raised my hand to push him aside, walked straight into my room. My room, though also messy, but compared to outside, could really be called tidy. I flipped the mattress up first, reached under to feel. As expected, nothing at all. It turned out, the money from the previous life, at this moment, had been taken by him to buy alcohol and drink. I smiled self-mockingly. My hand just relaxed. The thin mattress snapped pop back, causing the dust hidden on the bedboard to fly up. You hide money in the house and still want to get past me. The old geezer sprawled on the sofa, pushed the pile of dirty clothes to the floor, smugly shook the alcohol bottle in his hand. His flushed face made me nauseous. My 10 fingers slowly clenched, until the palm transmitted a heart-piercing pain. Only then did I discover I had unknowingly walked to in front of him. You get the hell out. The old geezer's words weren't finished when I had tightly grabbed his chin, used a lot of strength, making him involuntarily open his mouth, revealing an expression both shocked and disgusted. Without waiting for the filthy words in his mouth to curse out, I without hesitation snatched the alcohol bottle from his hand, the action both rough and decisive. The alcohol in the bottle, because of the strong shaking, bubbled up layers of foam. I tilted my hand. The amber liquid in the bottle was like a broken dam, without any courtesy, poured straight into his mouth. The old geezer's eyes bulged. In his throat emitted gurgling sounds. Wanted to struggle, but fundamentally not my opponent. Actually, from a long time ago, my strength had already been greater than his. Where's the money? The money you took to buy alcohol, where? I growled at him, then released my hand to let him breathe. You damn dog dare treat your dad like this. The old geezer angrily jumped up from the ground, raised his hand intending to slap my face, but he had drunk too much. His legs unsteady, staggered and fell back to the ground. The sticky liquid on my hand, both viscous and thick, still had a strong smell of cheap alcohol, making my stomach churn. I was too lazy to waste words with a useless drunkard anymore. Took large steps forward, grabbed his hair, poured all the remaining alcohol in the bottle into his mouth. Alcohol flowed down the corners of his mouth, dripping onto his clothes, leaving dark patches. The old geezer at this moment finally realized the strength difference between us. Then, survival instinct overpowered the irritation from the alcohol. His nails scratched my arm, leaving several blood streaks. Through the old geezer's bloodshot eyes, I saw a self both calm and crazed. I lowered my head, forcing him to look straight at me, tone cold as ice. I'll ask you one more time. Where's the money? The old geezer looked at me with unfamiliar eyes. The force on my hand increased a few more degrees. Only then did he come back to his senses. His hand unconsciously reached into his clothes. So it was hidden here. I released his hair, pulled open his shirt, finally found several red bills. Sparse. Only a few. I glanced again at the alcohol bottles rolling all over the floor. In my heart suddenly surged a familiar sense of helplessness. That was the lament of my 18-year-old self, because the future me had long become numb to all this. Later, when Willow like mist and I held our wedding, that old geezer still had the face to want to join the fun, was flatly refused by me. Others didn't know, but how could I not know his calculations? The old geezer purely coveted the wedding gift money. I stood up, from above glanced down at the old geezer touching his hair, coughing, not wanting to stay another second, slammed the door and left. No matter how he cursed behind my back, I treated it all as wind past my ears. I buried my head and ran a distance. The scenery along the road became more and more familiar. My restless heart finally gradually calmed down, especially when I raised my head, saw the faint moon in the sky. My heart felt more at peace. I just kept looking up at the sky for a long time. As a result, just as I came back to my senses, I was knocked down by a black shadow. Heavens. Guard. Uncle, why did you run here from the school gate? He didn't say a word, just used his arm to tightly pin me. My heart jumped. Bad premonition. Turned my head to look. The homeroom father's green face was indeed there. Beside him stood another person, who looked very familiar too. Wait until I was escorted back to the school office by the three of them. Only then did I recognize who that was. Wanted my grade supervisor. Oh, it's been so long. Summer week. You really are. The grade supervisor was so angry he pointed his finger at me. For half a day couldn't spit out a complete sentence. After so many years, hearing this name again, I felt a bit flustered. That old geezer always opened his mouth to curse damn dog. Even on the day of registering the household, he still hadn't sobered from alcohol. The person was muddled. In the end, the registration staff really couldn't stand it, and gave me this name. Therefore, After in the previous life, Willow like mist and I confirmed our relationship. I shamelessly begged her to give me a new name. She was good at studying. Cultured. The name she thought of for several days, of course, was impeccable. As for this name, Summer Week, had long been by me, thrown into some unknown corner. I obediently sat in front of them, endured this three-sided interrogation, watching the grade supervisor's mouth moving. I gradually felt a bit drowsy. Eyelids started to droop. I quietly yawned. Bored, turned my head away, just in time to face the nostrils flaring of the homeroom father. Still grinned at him. Who knew his eyes immediately bulged? That posture felt like the next second his eyeballs would stick to my face. I don't know how long passed. The suffering grade supervisor advised. Seeing I had no reaction, tiredly picked up the cup and drank a mouthful of water. I saw the time was about right, then stood up from my seat, took the paper they slammed in front of me, smoothed it out, placed it back on the desk. Supervisor teacher, I have decided to drop out. As soon as these words came out, the grade supervisor's eyelids twitched violently, his gaze at me, like looking at a strange creature. The cup engraved with advanced individual in his hand, made a clack sound. Summer Week. His voice suddenly sharpened. I nodded. Replied, yes. I said, dropping out requires parent signature, not just find any scrap paper. Write 2 words, drop out, and that's it. I pretended to nod as if understanding, but not. Under the unbelievable gazes of the grade supervisor and homeroom father, I picked up the pen. With flourishing strokes signed the old geezer's name. After signing, I pushed the paper in front of them. The two of them were silent for a moment. Then their breathing became heavy. You have no mother. Your dad is a drunkard. Never cared for you. As I said this, their eyes immediately changed. The lips that just now were pouted to scold of the supervisor teacher immediately softened. If you don't study anymore, what do you plan to do in the future? Start a business? Sir, I have thought of the direction. The two of them again spent half a day spitting saliva, but the attitude this time was much more pleasant than before. But I fundamentally didn't listen. Left ear in, right ear out. Seeing this stalemate continuing, it was still the kind person like me who took half a step back from the grade supervisor's hand, took back the dropout application, right under their pity-filled eyes. I, as if suddenly remembering something, playfully licked my lips. Immediately after was a slide. I lunged at their feet. Supervisor teacher, homeroom father, please lend me some money. I beg you to. Truly cultured people had never seen shamelessness like mine. In the end, relying on my 3-inch unbending tongue, I finally pocketed a stack of red money, happily went out the school gate. I waved to the scrap collector uncle in front, told him to wait a bit, then under the wary eyes of the guard, uncle, I again swaggered back to the classroom. At this time the pop quiz had long ended. The classmates were buzzing, complaining the test was hard. Seeing me enter, the classroom immediately fell silent. Summer Week. Where did you run off to? A kind person asked me a sentence. I shrugged indifferently, didn't immediately answer him, but went back to my seat, took off the uniform jacket, stuffed all the books in the desk drawer into it. If really couldn't fit, I chose to take the relatively clean ones, not doodled on much, and throw on the desk. Summer Week. You. What are you doing? My desk mate in front suddenly spoke, in his voice carrying kind unease. Willow like mist also stopped the pen in her hand, turned to look at me with doubtful eyes. At this time I saw under her hand, still pressing a completely new set of test papers. She was just like that, both talented and harder working than anyone. I didn't dare turn my head to look at her. Under the attention of the whole class, I frankly said I am preparing to drop out. The books on this desk are still new. Whoever among you needs them can take freely. The scene immediately buzzed. No wonder. Everyone was obedient students. Dropping out for them was like a tale from Arabian Nights. I didn't care about everyone's discussion. Tied the 2 uniform sleeves into a knot, then slung this book bundle over my shoulder. The corner of my eye could feel Willow like mist, looking at me with disapproving eyes. Hadn't walked a few steps when suddenly remembered something. I dashed up to the podium, smiled playfully and said to everyone, you all are good students. Must study hard. Must take me as a bad example. Especially you. Willow like mist. Continue being your good student. Bright future ahead. In the previous life it was her being pestered relentlessly by me. Though she also liked me. But that window paper was never pierced. Until I followed her to the city where she went to university to work. Pursued for another year. Only then did we officially get together. Now thinking back, her being able to lower herself to notice me, a big reason, perhaps was, in the tense and repetitive environment of senior year, suddenly rushed in a guy like me, such a restless fellow. That fresh feeling of youth was mistaken by her for vague love, the top academic girl of the year, paired with the bottom poor student boy. This pair was really easy to become a hot topic of youthful folly, buzzing discussions. I finished speaking, just turned my head, saw the homeroom father looking at me with a heartbroken face. Sigh. No choice. People with high sense of responsibility like him are like that. Even a bottom of the year like me wanting to drop out. He felt regret. I thought for a moment. When reaching the door, leaned close to the homeroom father's ear and quickly said a sentence. In the future when you teach, feel free to use me as a bad example. I guarantee not to sue you for image rights infringement. While the homeroom father frowned, about to grab the triangle ruler, to whack my butt. I had long predicted his action. Ran away long ago. I carried that big book bundle to the school gate. Was again blocked by that agile guard uncle. With the stainless steel fork, I waved the permission paper in front of him. Then swaggered out the school gate. The pile of books wrapped in the uniform. All sold to the scrap collector uncle. You're not studying anymore. I was counting the 28 yuan 8 jiao I got. The guard uncle beside kindly asked a sentence. I waved my hand, without turning back, said, not studying anymore. I'm not that kind of material. After saying that I pinched index and middle fingers, waved towards the school behind, as a real farewell. This time I had from the root, cut off the ill-fated connection between me and Willow like mist, following the original life trajectory of hers. In this life, the two of us perhaps, would no longer have any intersection. This is also good. I gripped the huge sum of money in my pants pocket. Again took a big loop in this city. Finally found the starting point for my career. I pulled out several red bills. Shouted loudly, boss. Step 2 in my moon plan officially launched. That night, I estimated the time and went home again. As expected, the old geezer had run off to drink and fool around again. After I cleaned the house once, without hesitation left the door, then exhaled a breath. I started loitering at intersections, conveniently surveying where my business empire should start from. Loitering like this until dark. I gnawed on a steamed bun. Dinner just passed like that. Who made me now a penniless pauper? Just finished surveying a spot. I suddenly braked hard, hid behind the wall at the corner. I waited until I saw Willow like mist, hugging her school bag hurriedly running home. Only then stepped out from behind the wall. I stared fixedly at her wide open school bag, and the disheveled uniform. My eyes revealed thoughtfulness. Willow like mist always cherished books extremely. This situation. I frowned, scooped a handful of dirt from the ground, then conveniently tucked a broken wooden stick behind my pants, slipped into the alley she had just come out of. As soon as I stepped in, I ran into 3 blonde-haired guys. That appearance just looking knew they studied worse than me. I saw the pink wallet they threw on the ground. Immediately understood. Willow like mist just now had been robbed of money. Damn it. 3 dog bastards. The blonde guys also discovered me, threw the cigarette in hand down, sized up the uniform on my body, whistled, seemed to treat me as a fat sheep. I pulled out the cigarette I forgot to throw away, held it grinning as I walked towards them. Just when the blonde guys thought I was sensible, I suddenly threw the handful of dirt in my hand, while they clutched their eyes bent over cursing loudly. I pulled the broken wooden stick from behind, whacked them relentlessly. In the previous life since clinging to Willow like mist, I never fought again, because the person I loved didn't like these things. After so many years fighting again, the skills were a bit rusty. Damn it. Really took a lot of my effort. I touched the wound at the corner of my mouth, buried my head and ran. To take a shortcut, while climbing the wall carelessly stepped on a dog. As a result chased by that dog for a whole street. I also had to thank it. I instead arrived before Willow like mist, to below her apartment building, conveniently through her wallet, onto the path she would definitely pass. Seeing Willow like mist pick up the wallet, I didn't say a word. Turned and slipped away. I touched the wound at the corner of my mouth, looked up at the moon like mist in the sky. Satisfied, left. Through my meticulous calculations, finally, I invested my startup capital into a intersection not far from a high school. This place not only had large pedestrian traffic, transportation was also convenient. If needed to escape, I could climb onto my small tricycle and flee anytime. Just that I never expected. Here I could meet the homeroom father. I handed him a grilled sausage, deliberately added extra spicy and numbing, as thanks for the initial capital support from this shareholder. Seeing him still hesitating, I decisively stuffed the sausage into his hand, then hurried to serve other customers. Customers came in waves. The small stall just now bustling, in a blink became empty. I glanced at the homeroom father hesitantly wanting to speak beside me. Myself stuffed a flour sausage into my mouth. So starting a business is doing this? The homeroom father carefully asked, afraid that carelessly would hurt my pitiful self-esteem. His lips had been made red and spicy by the enthusiasm of this sausage. In contrast, I was very calm. Instead, the homeroom father's complicated expression, as if I had done something that couldn't be told to others. Teacher, don't look down on my small stall. One day earns not little. I'll quickly pay back the money to you. Saying that, I even smacked my lips. Worthy of being the pillar of the future snack world. The taste of this flour sausage was top-notch. The homeroom father wiped the spicy sweat on his forehead, shook his head indifferently, hesitated for a long time, finally asked the words in his heart. You really not planning to study anymore? Not studying? What can you do after studying? With my rotten grades? Can't even find a job. Better to come out early and do it myself. While cleaning the grill, while looking at the empty stall, in my heart wondering, normally this time is peak hour. How come today no one coming my way? I was wondering, wiping the grease on my hands, continued, saying, most important is no money for tuition. The money I secretly washed dishes for others and saved, stupidly left at home. In the end, all taken by that old geezer. In the previous life, I still had the student mindset. Clearly couldn't learn but still wanted to cling to school. Because of this, depressed endlessly. This life, consider it figured out. Everything, let it go. I wiped my face. Again lowered my head to look at my attire. Then looked at the surrounding students. Sneakily looking this way. In my heart even more wondering. Why not coming over? I was lost in thought. Inadvertently glanced at the homeroom father pursing his lips. Expressionless face. Immediately understood where the problem was. I also didn't care if he wanted or not. Stuffed another sausage into his hand. Summer week. Teacher not holding. If teacher not holding, I have no customers. The homeroom father still didn't understand my meaning, until he saw a crowd of students suddenly rushing up. Only now did I react again. It turned out to be my own prestige. Had scared these little ones. As expected. Students are born already afraid of teachers. Finally, some customers came. I clumsily collected money. Busy without a moment to breathe. The corner of my eye glimpsed the homeroom father still standing there. I casually asked, how did everyone do on the previous small test? Oh, quite good. All maintained good form. As soon as he heard I still cared about the classmates in the class, the homeroom father's face clearly showed joy. The flour sausage in his hand was also raised high. In my heart, I felt a bit touched. Unexpectedly, the homeroom father still thought to help me attract customers. I pretended to casually ask another sentence. First place is still Willow like mist. Right, that goes without saying. Willow like mist is definitely first place. Steadily. No one can take it away. The homeroom father's tone was full of pride. Hearing this, I unconsciously nodded. No mistake. Willow like mist as a person has always been this outstanding. If in the previous life she hadn't married me, hadn't been dragged down by me and the children, she originally should stand high up. An existence that makes many people look up. The oil on the grill sizzled. Oil splattered and burned the hand a bit. I looked at the pitch-black crowd of students before my eyes. Only then suddenly realized today wasn't the weekend. Homeroom father. Don't you have to teach class today? The homeroom father saw me alone struggling a bit. then extended his idle hand to help me collect money. No need. Today. Grade 12. Organized mountain climbing. Our group just came back. I just walked a bit faster. He spoke while unable to hold back a sigh. Sigh. The physical fitness of students now is really not good. Everyone walks slower than this old man. As soon as these words entered my ears, my heart immediately skipped a beat. A bad premonition surged up. I had just raised my eyes when I saw the homeroom father excitedly, happily waving towards the distance. Oil from the sausage in his hand dripped down, slid along the skewer, stuck to his hand too. Following his direction, a long line of students appeared in my sight. With just one glance I found in the crowd, locked onto Willow like mist. She was whispering with the classmate beside her. The corner of her mouth bloomed a slightly shy smile, a rarely seen relaxed expression. I hurriedly lowered my head, skillfully working in my hands, until a customer stood in front of the stall, impatiently calling me. My head lowered even more, really wishing I could drill straight into the grill. Kids, come over here. The homeroom father's booming voice shouted. Immediately, attracted everyone's attention. I somewhat gritted my teeth and glared at him. As a result, discovered he was smugly raising an eyebrow at me. Hey, isn't this summer week? Long time no see. Yes. Without you in class, it's a bit unaccustomed. Haha. I forced out a standard social smile. These words were as polite as could be. The class lacking the bottom-ranked me. I'm afraid the average score had risen quite to 0, quite a bit. The homeroom father slapped my shoulder, then extremely domineeringly waved his hand. Today this meal is on me. The whole class sausages I cover. Want to eat how many skewers? Just take yourself. Tell summer week is fine. Wow. Homeroom father is awesome. Thank you homeroom father. Also thank classmate summer week. I don't know who in the crowd suddenly shouted such a sentence, making the thanks to me rise higher and higher. Don't know the situation, huh? Probably thought I had donated a building to the school. I sneakily glanced at Willow like mist, discovered she was curiously looking around with a few parts curiosity. I hurriedly withdrew my gaze. Then towards those young and tender faces, flashed a big smile. Don't be shy. We're all classmates. How can I take your money? All free. Want how many skewers? Just take. Wow. You're so cool. Yes. Yes. Person is too good. The homeroom father beside just about to say something. I was quick of eye and hand, snatched the grilled sausage in his hand, stuffed it into his mouth. The classmates, both enthusiastic and a bit shy, those with money insisted on giving me, no matter how I blocked, and those without money, both craving and embarrassed to take for free, finally forced me to put away the money bag, one by one personally hand to them. Meeting those really shy, I decisively put the sausage straight into their mouths. Simple and effective. Honestly, though I wasn't good at studying, but I had feelings for this group of students. Pure thoughts. No bad intentions. This time even with the homeroom father beside helping, I was still busy flying around. I stared fixedly at the sausage on the far right outside, grilled golden and crispy, carefully picked it up, brushed a layer of ketchup first, then on top, lightly sprinkled a tiny bit of chili powder. Willow, like mist. This one is yours. When her name came out of my mouth, I felt my heart burning hot. Willow like mist showed a bit of surprise. In her eyes flashed a smiling intent, took the grilled sausage from my hand. She actually couldn't eat spicy, but always craved it irresistibly. In the previous life, when I went out to eat with her, always ordered one spicy portion, accompanied by one non-spicy. Wow, Willow like mist. You did too perfectly on this. Really Willow like mist bit the first bite, spiced by the chili powder on top until she squinted, unconsciously stuck out her tongue. I pretended to be surprised. Hey, really Willow like mist. Looks like you're lucky, huh? Thank you. Willow like mist's expression immediately relaxed, like a flower blooming, the eyes behind the glasses sparkling with clear light. In the previous life, I especially liked teasing her, always when she was tired from studying. Sneakily removed her glasses, then kissed her forehead and eyes, then looked at those dazed eyes, hugged her tightly into my arms. Willow like mist at this moment was very happy, but her gaze just touched me, as if burned, hurriedly withdrew several times, cheeks flushed secretly climbing behind her ears. I lowered my head and glanced at myself, then reacted. Today I was wearing a white tank top, waist casually tied, a long-sleeved shirt, chest muscles slightly revealed. Oil stains on the belly made the shirt stick to the skin. No choice. This is also commercial competition. If not for this style of dress, my business wouldn't be much better than the neighboring stalls. Willow, like mist. Remember to study well. Okay. She heard this sentence from me, raised her eyes and smiled at me. The smile very faint, carrying polite distance. After that, I always lowered my head working, didn't dare raise my head again, until the homeroom father checked his watch, led the large army to retreat. Only then did I raise my head, greedily used my gaze to outline Willow like mist's back. Her ponytail swung high, whole body exuded confidence, completely unable to see the image of being tormented by postpartum depression back then. In the previous life, because my education was too low, couldn't find a proper job, so ran to the city where Willow like mist studied university, sold street food doing odd jobs, the top academic girl of the year, and the bottom poor student boy. This kind of story sounds romantic, but in reality no one believed we could last long. Even I myself often worried about gains and losses, because Willow like mist was truly too outstanding. After class, she always came to my stall to help, meeting university classmates. She also casually held my arm, confidently introduced, "This is my boyfriend." I knew even if they didn't say it, in their hearts, definitely thinking, truly a fresh flower stuck in cow dung. Willow like mist herself didn't care about these things, but I didn't want her to suffer with me. I did several jobs a day, worked hard to save. Willow like mist was very sensitive. She noticed my abnormality, then asked her family for a sum of money. I didn't know how she persuaded her family, but when I saw her red eyes, I gritted my teeth, vowing absolutely cannot let her suffer with a poor kid like me. I used all the savings from part-time work, plus the money Willow like mist's family gave, bought back a closed factory. I prepared to do it myself. Comprehensive flour sausage business. Those years Willow like mist always said I lived too bitterly. Felt sorry for me, but I didn't feel that way at all. Instead felt life increasingly hopeful. That was hope belonging to me and Willow like mist. Hope for our future. Unexpectedly persevering like that actually made me somewhat famous. Later Willow like mist studied for graduate school. Her tuition and the initial scientific research expenses needing self-advance were all paid from our joint card. Our life passed very smoothly. We married when Willow like mist was in graduate school. On the house ownership certificate, all were her name and her parents. After all, my side only had one old geezer, couldn't let him benefit. But right when Willow like mist was about to start live streaming, she discovered she was pregnant. This was the crystallization of our love. After discussing with me, Willow like mist decided to give birth. She started staying home, waiting to deliver. Live streaming naturally put on hold, while my factory, also because of the so-called flour sausage ingredient issue on the internet, encountered trouble. Products unsold, piled up in the warehouse. That period I was almost driven mad by busyness. Willow, like mist, often sad because unable to bear the burden for this family, always secretly crying alone behind my back. After that, Willow like mist gave birth to our daughter, but suffered postpartum depression. Only then did I truly realize how terrifying psychological illness is. I regretted countless times for being her husband. Why couldn't I discover it earlier? Although Willow like mist was still as considerate, so I wouldn't worry, always smiling on her face. But I understood clearly, that was completely forced smile. The factory incident made her helpless. Academic research forced to pause. First time being a mother made her confused. All things combined had forced her into a housewife. Willow like mist, she was originally such an outstanding person, yet helplessly trapped at home, like a blooming rose, withering day by day. I later thought for a long time, and understood. The clear moon hanging high in the sky. A good person like Willow like mist, fundamentally shouldn't be bound by family. Shouldn't be labeled wife. She must be Willow like mist, and can only be Willow like mist, not someone's wife, someone's mother. though the sky faces the high moon, but laments hanging high, unable to touch. Willow like mist from the start, should have been ruined by someone like me. The figures of the classmates gradually faded. I stood in place, looking at the backs full of vitality of each of them. Boss. 1. Grilled sausage. A customer handed over 3 yuan. I enthusiastically took it, while making asked what flavor he wanted. I busied like that until evening. Just preparing to pack up, saw the old geezer carrying a alcohol bottle, aggressively charging towards me, even gulped a big mouthful, as if stealing himself. I was a bit surprised, raising an eyebrow. Really didn't expect this drunkard drunk all day could actually find here. Even more unexpected he came so late. You dog. You dare sell things in the house. I gave you face, huh? He one hand pressed on my small tricycle, seemed wanting to flip my beloved cart. Funny. He didn't think here, crowded. I wouldn't dare hit him, huh? Really ridiculous. The thing I regretted most in previous life was cleaning him up too late. I one hand grabbed his wrist, twisted it back. Pain made that old geezer wail on the spot. I conveniently easily pulled him aside. Didn't sell everything. Some things I'm still using. Moreover, some things originally bought with my money. The old geezer controlled by me couldn't escape. His shifty eyes spun, just looking knew no good intent. As expected, next second he collapsed to the ground, started rolling and playing victim. Oh heavens. Help. Unfilial son beating his father. Everyone come see the son beating his father. His hands flailed in the air. His legs also incessantly kicked on the ground. Dust on the ground stirred up by him flying everywhere, stuck all over his wrinkled clothes, and stank. The surrounding people, some surprised, some sympathetic, some cold, just surrounded watching, but no one dared intervene. Silently watched him perform, looking at the absurd comical scene before eyes. In previous life when my factory had issues, this old geezer also rolled and played victim like this. Found Willow like mist, played victim to her in public, just to before the factory completely collapsed. Take a bit more money to drink. Willow like mist, though heard me tell how shameless this old geezer was. But she never knew he could be this despicable. I still remember to this day. Willow like mist. At that time, her illness just slightly improved. Hugged the child out. As a result, surrounded by unclear people, pointing fingers. That confused, helpless look. Before marrying me, Willow like mist, always praised by everyone. When had she endured the humiliation of being surrounded, like watching a play? Beside my ears the old geezer's cursing. That shameless face completely matched previous life memory. My heart that had become numb surged a feeling of irritation. I yanked his collar hard, pulled him up from the ground. My eyes filled with bloodshot, warning him, you try making a bigger scene. The bigger the better. Let everyone see. This drunkard father like you hasn't raised me a single day. I was almost roaring, pouring out the suffering of 2 lives I endured because of this so-called biological father. Because of this blood father. Completely roared out. The money my mother left taken by him to drink and gamble all. I live to today completely thanks to neighbors' pity. You never raised me. Then don't expect me to care for your old age or funeral. If you dare appear before me again, I'll sue you. Don't forget how much money you took from me. The old geezer, suppressed by my words, the surrounding discussions, also started pointing at him. As soon as I released my hand, he softened and collapsed to the ground. The moment I turned, I heard the sound of glass breaking, and the surprised cry of kind people beside. The old geezer grabbed half a broken alcohol bottle, then lunged at me, but I just stood stunned, looking at his crazed eyes. In my heart only deep disgust left. Really very annoying. A life like this has no meaning at all. Perhaps dying isn't bad that way. Willow like mists. Life can completely separate from me, become 2 parallel lines never intersecting. Amid the surrounding crowd's shouts and commotion, before my eyes flashed the image of previous life. Willow like mist. That was after I told her about my life. Like a sewer rat, she just hugged my face, forced me to look into her eyes. She seriously, word by word, said to me, "Don't let others interfere with your life. You must have your own way of living. Even mud can be stirred." Then she kissed my forehead and eyes, used the gentlest voice to say to me, The person I love. You are not a bad person. The body's reaction faster than the brain. I unconsciously stepped back half a step. Like previous life, Willow like mist had pulled me from behind. That sharp half-broken bottle finally only stabbed into my right arm. Warm blood flowed out. This red streak seemed to make the alcohol in the old geezer's head dissipate a bit. Reason took over. He tremblingly released the bottle, eyes filled with fear. I couldn't help sneering. This shameless man even relatives avoid. Actually had a day fearing me. What was he afraid of? Afraid it'd send him to the police station. I hugged my bleeding arm, coldly lowered eyes looking at him, as if not feeling pain at all. I opened my slightly pale lips, delivered the final blow to him. I say one last time, never appear before me again. Otherwise, plus, this intentional injury crime, I guarantee you'll spend the rest of your life in prison. The old geezer nervously swallowed. The alcohol smell on the ground mixed with bloody smell. Assaulting, making me nauseous. Still not scrambling away. Don't you see they're calling the police? A few kind reminders from me directly scared the old geezer into crawling away. Before turning his head already fled. I cleaned the broken glass pieces on the ground, threw all into the trash, then rode my small beloved tricycle and sped off. That old geezer really stupid and naive. I was just scaring him. These surrounding people not relatives. Who has time to call police? Anyway, this is family matter. I made a trip to the hospital, handled the wound on my arm, but as soon as I smelled the disinfectant, in my heart felt extremely uncomfortable. In previous life, Willow like mist had postpartum depression. She refused to admit psychological issues. I had to run to the hospital continuously, ran many times. I even shamelessly asked for the doctor's contact. The doctor told me, no matter how much family cares, postpartum women very easily get depression, because childbirth causes great damage and fatigue to women's bodies. After birth, immediately care for newborn baby, both physically and mentally, especially fragile. The care and attention from family, sometimes may not fill the emotional void deep in the postpartum woman's heart. If the postpartum woman doesn't receive enough social and emotional support, very easily feels lonely, hopeless, heart full of grievances. Every time I think of these, I hate not being able to slap myself twice. You damn, what kind of husband. Truly a bastard. But what about Willow like mist? Even sick herself still turned to comfort me, said she understood my hardship running around. My wife, the person I love, damn. Why can she be this good? I just left the hospital, finally returned to my new home under the bridge. As a result, just saw dog shit in the temporary tent. I immediately couldn't hold back crawling out, looked up to the sky cursing around, really defeated. Usually, I self-mock this as a doghouse. Unexpectedly, really a dog came to shit here. I muttered, cursing while cleaning the bedding clean. Just lay down on the spread place. Through the simple skylight, I myself dug on the tent roof, looked up at the moon in the sky. Moon, oh moon. Moon, oh moon. Please bless the person I love. Let her in this life be safe and sound. No more disasters. In the following days, except when I repaid the debt to the grade supervisor and homeroom father, coincidentally met Willow like mist once. After that, no longer saw her. Next, the university entrance exam ended. I again met Willow like mist coming to my stall to support. At that time I was scared too. Immediately changed selling spot, until she went to university in another province. We both no longer met. Really good. Willow like mist's radiant life, finally about to begin. Like that, day by day. Already past 2-3 years. Since the last time I met Willow like mist. Months, years, days. Sigh. Honestly, I also don't want to remember these dates. But who made me have this strange talent? Dates automatically jump out in my head. I once thought I had awakened some super ability. As a result, borrowed review materials from a high school student. Just looked, oh heavens. My eyes went dark. As expected, I still not the type who can study. Boss. 1. Grilled sausage. Again that familiar voice. I quickly added numbing and spicy. One hand collected money, one hand gave sausage. Looked at homeroom father, spiced until inhaling. I smiled while twisting open a water bottle for him. Homeroom father. You're too talented. No matter where I change selling spot you find These years I to avoid Willow like mist. Every holiday changed spot, but homeroom father every time like having GPS. Appeared without missing once. Homeroom father smugly glanced at me, satisfied patted his slightly protruding beer belly. This is called skill. I sneered, looked at his increasingly bald head. Can't help reminding you're not young anymore. Eat less oily fatty things. Beware of the 3 highs. As a result, he waved indifferently. I could only helplessly shrug. Saw off another customer. I pulled out from my chest a small red velvet box. Homeroom father's eyelids twitched, eyes filled with uncontainable joy. Gift for me. What else? Wanted Teacher's Day the other day. A poor student like me embarrassed to show up so didn't appear. But gift still must make up. Oh come on. This kid. What are you saying so scary? Homeroom father threw the bamboo skewer. Tried wiping hands on clothes. Took my gift fountain pen. Nice. I like this. Homeroom father overjoyed. Even the few sparse hairs on his head seemed dancing. I wondered. Just a small gift. Need to be this happy. So. Other classmates all empty-handed. Came to visit you. How could that be? But having this heart is worth more than anything. I pretended casually cleaning the grill. Smoothly shifted topic to Willow like mist. Just mentioning Willow like mist. This favorite student of his. Homeroom father's excitement immediately surged again. Willow like mist, ah, heard she does very well in university. Oh come on. That's certain. Willow like mist so outstanding. Does anything is top, hee hee. Of course. Homeroom father held the fountain pen looking over and over, finally squinted staring at the English words on the pen body. He rolled his tongue in his mouth several times. Couldn't read a proper word. Really don't understand he is a math teacher. Why care about English letters? I saw homeroom father. Suddenly mysteriously turned his back. Behind me don't know what doing. Probably moved to tears. I was about to open mouth to comfort him a few sentences. When he like electrocuted turned back. Hand holding the pen like holding hot potato. This pen, how so expensive? You're crazy. Return it quick. Return quick. Homeroom father tightly held phone in right hand. Screen still bright shopping app interface. He panicked wanting to stuff the fountain pen back into the box. But tried several times missed. Teacher just keep it. You know too. These years I not just street selling. Relying on previous life experience. Besides sausages, I traded a few other things. Can say leading the market quite far. Long ago saved a sum. And bought a local factory. Consider walking the previous life wealth path again. Now street selling. Completely just personal hobby. Moreover, homeroom father these years. Rain or shine came to support me. Your little black fund suffered too. After I said all the nice words. Homeroom father finally relieved. Stuffed the fountain pen into pocket. Thank you. Summer strong I helplessly pouted. Once again corrected. Am I told you many times? Call me Summer weak. Don't call that rustic name. Homeroom father rubbed the fountain pen in pocket. Pouted shaking head muttering yo. Summer strong. Summer weak hearing that mocking tone. I couldn't help giving him a glare. Homeroom father plopped down on the flower bed behind me. Chatted idly with me. How did you think of this literary sounding name? Before didn't see you cultured at all. Hee hee. This name good right. Previous life Willow like mist gave me. Summer strong. Summer strong sounds very cultured. Homeroom father first nodded, hesitated 2 seconds then shook head. Why does it sound like I know? I know. Are you local? How come you speak with local accent? I couldn't help turning back. Extremely surprised looked at homeroom father, making him a bit scared. How did he know? In previous life I pestered Willow like mist. Begged her to give a nice name. She thought for several days. Gave me several choices. The name Summer Strong. Originally she took out to tease me. Because I didn't let her worry about anything. So she often patted my head, saying, like mist. Don't want to be sad. But I understood I know. I know. I know all. The troubling things in like mist's heart I all know. Hee hee. So I like this name at first sight. Could it be among readers? Really have such unspoken understanding. I looked at the sky, decided to immediately pack up, swept all remaining sausages, packed and gave to homeroom father. This I gift to teacher wife. Before homeroom father pulled money from pocket. I already climbed on my beloved cart, flew away. I stopped the cart by the bridge, flipped pocket, found a bag of dog food just bought. Actually, I moved from under the bridge long ago. Just some unused things. Like bedsheets. Quilt covers not thrown. Had to temporarily set up a doghouse there. I was about to shout, calling my dog team, but before approaching the doghouse, saw a figure I missed day and night. Standing there. Oh Lord, why is Willow like mist here? I was startled, quickly dodged, hiding behind a tree. Willow like mist, still like previous life. Removed glasses. Straightened hair, whole body beautiful to glowing. Willow like mist. Don't be sad anymore. Shoo will definitely be fine. Only now did I notice. Beside Willow like mist stood a girl. Together, squatting, playing with a puppy. Ah. Isn't this an acquaintance? Her best friend. I remember she is a novelist. Just now I only focused on Willow like mist, so didn't see her. Willow like mist lowered her head. A faint melancholy unconsciously filled the corners of her eyes. Her forehead slightly furrowed, making my heart feel like breaking. I slapped my head, tried hard to recall previous life. My respected father-in-law at this time. What exactly happened? In previous life, Willow, like mist, suddenly took long leave from school. Before explaining to me, hurriedly left. At that time, my factory just starting. She demanded I watch over. Didn't let me go with her home. I had no choice. Only transferred phone and all money usable in card to Willow like mist. Later, under my persistent questioning, she said her father fell and broke leg. Willow, like mist's parents, both ordinary workers, working in factory. Her father every day climb high and low. So accident happened. I frowned tightly, fingers clenched into tree bark. Willow like mist shook head, patted the puppy's head, then left with her best friend. Her shoulders seemed a bit drooped. I waited a few more minutes. Sure, they had gone far. Dared to step out from behind the tree. As soon as saw old acquaintance me, dog team immediately surrounded. I absent-mindedly poured dog food into stone basin, reached out to pat the puppy's head. On it, seemed still had warmth from Willow like mist's palm. In previous life, my respected father-in-law, even with broken leg, such high treatment costs, he refused to use the money I gave Willow like mist. He feared using my money. His daughter would be inferior to me. Oh, the person I love so good. Her parents also so good. In the end, still I secretly from Willow like mist, called father-in-law. I said I came to repay debt, just repaying the debt that year. Willow like mist borrowed from them. I even forged a very real IOU. Under my firm guarantee, father-in-law reluctantly nodded, but didn't forget to warn me not to bully his daughter. Otherwise he would break my leg. My in-laws both honest people, the type who would rather sell all assets than open mouth to ask relatives, friends. Thinking of this I headache scratched hair. My lovely father-in-law, really love him. I slapped my head hard. Immediately called the factory. Instructed around. Then right away rode my beloved cart, sped to supermarket. I chose a few gifts, both expensive and not ostentatious. Went straight to homeroom father's house. Next was a very skilled playing victim scene. I carried things in both hands. One left, one right. Hugged tight homeroom father and teacher's wife's legs. Didn't forget. Very politely greeted their son. This person no talent. Just thick-skinned. Otherwise previous life also couldn't pursue. The good cabbage Willow like mist. Wait until I finished my request. Homeroom father immediately pouted. Tense expression disappeared. Immediately glanced at me, full of indifference. Summer strong. This matter you say straight not done. Scared me to death. Seeing you set up this formation, I thought, you want me to help you embezzle. Hee. Okay, if this succeeds, my lovely father-in-law. Your son-in-law not. Your previous life son-in-law. Will save him from hot water. I left gifts and various fresh, hot sausages at homeroom father's house. When leaving I saw homeroom father's grandson, also kindly said a sentence. Little kid, must study hard, okay? Otherwise like uncle I hadn't finished. Homeroom father already kicked me out. The security door bang closed mercilessly. I looked at the big fortune on the door. Once again lamented homeroom father, truly kind person. Even free bad example unwilling to use. I said no need for copyright fee. Really? Sigh. But regarding Willow like mist, I still felt a bit uneasy. Her personality was too strong. She liked to shoulder everything herself. These days must not have been easy for her. I used my brain that had never taken the university entrance exam, calculated carefully for a while, then slapped my thigh hard. Began. Camped in front of the best friend's house who was on leave at home. Oh, in the previous life, I already knew she was a homebody. Didn't expect her to be this much of a homebody. I sat guarding all day and finally saw her come downstairs. Immediately pulled my zipper up high, hid half my face inside, lowered my head pretending to play with phone. Wow. Amazing. Amusement park has free balloons. Even the Ferris wheel is free. Wow. Amazing. A good thing like this probably only once in a life at EAM. Seeing the best friend's cold face with no reaction, I quickly slipped into the hallway, took off the jacket, flipped it inside out and put it on. Luckily I was smart, wore a reversible jacket. I ran quickly to the best friend's side, pretended to be a passerby. Heavens. Amusement park has free balloons. Even the Ferris wheel is free. Wow. Amazing. A good thing like this how many times in a life it. Then I quickly took off the jacket, pretended to pass by the best friend again. Oh heavens. Amusement park has free balloons and Ferris wheel again. Only once in a lifetime. Must go with the girls. Just when I was thinking whether to strip and run over one more time, finally heard her calling. Willow. Like mist. 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 Let's go to the amusement park. Today Ferris wheel is free. Willow like mist seemed not to agree. She immediately whined and acted cute. Please. Mist. Mist. Come with me once. I beg you. I saw a smug smile on her face. Immediately turned and went upstairs. Too great. Plan succeeded. But this joy hadn't faded yet. A gust of wind blew. I immediately sneezed. Which grandson is badmouthing me? I sniffled. Put the jacket back on. According to Willow like mist's habit, her makeup time usually fixed around 35 minutes. So, I completely had time to leisurely go to the amusement park. But I had just sat on my small tricycle, looked up, unexpectedly saw the best friend had changed into different clothes, coming down from upstairs. Heavens. My eyes widened, could only watch helplessly as she rode a shared bike, went faster than me, ruined. Miscalculated. How sad must Willow like mist be, to be too lazy to even put on makeup and go out immediately. My heart shattered into pieces. I rolled up my sleeves. Immediately started pedaling my beloved cart with all my might, until I saw the best friend stop under Willow like mist's building. My heart dared to relax a bit, but feet still didn't dare stop. Truly a treasure that fought alongside me on the love battlefield. The cart arrived more than 10 minutes faster than them. I leaned into the costume area, right in the center of the amusement park. At a glance locked onto Willow like mist. She looked a bit thinner than before. Hair simply tied high behind her head, still some dark circles under her eyes. I walked quickly over, handed the sunflower-shaped balloon, tightly held in my left hand, to in front of Willow like mist. Didn't forget to casually stuff one to her best friend. Willow like mist showed great surprise. Her eyes lit up. The corners of her mouth couldn't help curving slightly. Finally, no longer the sad expression as before. Thank you. She took the balloon, said in a polite and sincere tone, then walked past my side. The best friend beside excitedly shook her arm. Didn't you see mist? Mist. I told you there were free balloons. Hurry. Hurry. Ferris wheel is free too. I pretended to be handing out balloons. Followed closely behind them. Not too close, not too far. Heard the best friend continuously comforting her. Mist. Don't furrow your brows anymore. Uncle's medical expenses are resolved right. Heaven still blesses you. Who would have thought the sausage the homeroom father brought you could actually win the big prize? Yeah. But I still feel this is unreal. What's there to fear? Money is already in the account. Willow like mist smiled faintly, casually tied the sunflower balloon to her wrist. Yeah, you're right. Maybe heaven really blesses me. After hearing their conversation, the balloons in my hand were just all distributed. Finally, a big stone fell from my heart. Homeroom father handling this was indeed reliable. Hee hee. To think of a besieged way to rescue Zhao plan like this. I truly am a genius. But the smugness hadn't lasted a few seconds. Willow, like mist, and the best friend had arrived in front of the Ferris wheel. While they were queuing, I stood behind them, winked hard at the staff there. When it was their turn, the staff who had received money beforehand smiled radiantly, strode forward. Wow. Two beautiful ladies. Your luck is really too good. Just happened to be the 100th customer this afternoon, so free Ferris wheel ride. The staff finished speaking, handed 2 flowers to Willow like mist. Sunlight pierced through thin clouds, shone, dappled light, covered the ground with a layer of golden sand. She lowered her head, gently smelled the bright flower in her hand. The action extremely gentle, as if afraid to disturb the gift that fell from the sky. Willow, like mist, slightly closed her eyes. On her face, an indescribable peace and contentment. In the previous life, every day I sold street food, would buy a flower for Willow like mist, so she wouldn't be sad. In the end, the flower shop owner even knew me. When we bought wedding flowers, she specially gave me 20% off. Hee. This flower I personally chose. Willow like mist will definitely like it. Hee. Willow like mist held her best friend's arm, sat on the Ferris wheel, eyes carrying smiling intent, lowered head casually glanced over the amusement park. I felt her gaze sweep over, immediately raised both hands over my head, made a big heart shape. I vaguely saw Willow like mist pat the best friend's arm, tell her to hurry too. The Ferris wheel slowly started moving. I looked up, just silently watched it turn one circle, then another circle. In the previous life, Willow like mist and I had set our love on this very Ferris wheel. Ferris wheel. Oh Ferris wheel, please take away all the troubles of the person I love. The Ferris wheel gradually stopped. Willow, like mist and best friend hand in hand, stepped down. A few stray hairs on her forehead gently blown by the wind, mixed with the surrounding flower scent. When they passed by me, I heard the best friend say, Willow like mist, you're really too lucky. Yeah. I think so too. After that, Willow like mist played many other games. I always stood not far from them, watched them play and take photos. The sun slowly set. Golden light became increasingly gentle. Dusk dyed orange-red and light purple. Light shone on Willow, like mist's dress, continuously changing colors. Luckily, the smile always bloomed on Willow like mist's lips. Seeing this, my mouth corners couldn't close. Waited until they were tired and preparing to leave. Only then did I take out the camera, raised the sign on my chest. Free photos. No charge. It's you. You're still here. Willow like mist smiled, squinting eyes at me, pointed at the Ferris wheel, followed my earlier pose. Also made a heart shape. Yes. I've always been here. I nodded, raised the camera and took a shot for them. Willow like mist held the flower close to her face. Sunlight pierced through petal gaps, shining on her face, reflected a gentle halo, making her face even gentler and more captivating. Looking at Willow like mist in the camera, my heart pounded hard. Pressed the shutter. The photo quickly printed. Willow like mist in the photo, still so beautiful. Postpartum depression truly tormented people. In the previous life, after Willow like mist got sick, would for some issue suddenly scream until hoarse, wait until she calmed herself, would hug her face crying and apologizing to me. She at that time had smashed all the mirrors in the house because she couldn't accept the image in the mirror. Body changed, appearance haggard, every day groundlessly harbored resentment. Thank you. Willow like mist smiled at me, took the photo from my hand, then huddled with the best friend, whispering. I turned back, looking at her straight back, exhaled a long breath, then dragged my tired legs into the staff rest area of the amusement park. Just took off the costume. I immediately collapsed to the ground. I sniffled, felt like I had a slight cold, head dizzy. Beside my ears, seemed to hear Willow like mist calling my name. I groggily opened my eyes, waited until I clearly saw the person. Peeking cautiously at the door was Willow like mist. I immediately jumped up from the ground. I hurriedly picked up the stuffed animal head again, then saw Willow like mist, with a joyful face, walking to me. Summer week. Long time no see. When she clearly saw the costume in my hand, the joy in her eyes even clearer. Turns out the person inside this costume is you. I kept saying why it felt familiar. I immediately shook my head, denying. But words hadn't come out yet. Saw the manager here poke head out from the window. Costume not in use, put back in place. Ah. I work part-time here. I looked at Willow like mists, squinting smiling eyes. Really couldn't think of another explanation, could only faintly nod to her. After neatly placing the costume, I ignored Willow like mist, still wanting to continue talking to me. Took long strides leaving there. When passing the door, carelessly bumped into her best friend's shoulder. Sorry. I quickly said sorry, then tilted half my body, hurriedly left there. Walked a very long distance, only then dared to stop. Slowly squatted down, leaning against the wall, wiped away a tear that sneaked out, then sniffled, sneezed and hurriedly ran home. I didn't know Willow like mist had taken how long leave, but I still tried every way to avoid her. As a result, for a long time I no longer went out street selling, making homeroom father scared to call me several days in a row, asking if I had died. Really defeated by him. Can't he wish me something good? Only until I sneaked to the hospital, finally guarded my lovely father-in-law. Discharged. At that time I also didn't run into Willow like mist, only then dared to confidently continue street selling. The following days passed quite peacefully. I also hardly could dig more any news about Willow like mist from homeroom father's mouth. No choice and module. Homeroom father really knew nothing. My factory still operated very prosperously. I every day sold on time, packed up the stall on time, then to the doghouse under the bridge to feed dogs. Every night gazed at the moon, shasauta alone. Days like this actually weren't hard. Like that passed another 2 years. Willow like mist had graduated university. She is Willow like mist after all, originally already so outstanding. Moreover, this life no longer dragged down by me. Exactly like previous life, she successfully reserved graduate spot at the school. Homeroom father. In such cold winter you still run to support me. Really makes me touched want to cry. I rubbed my frozen red hands, handed a numbing spicy grilled sausage to homeroom father huddled in his cotton jacket, wrapped tight like a ball. Watched him struggle to take off gloves. Scan code to pay me. That's only natural. I count as your loyal fan. Why don't you make it free for me once? Wow. Homeroom father. Now do you still lack this bit of money? The money in your account is about to be downloaded. Hearing my flattery, homeroom father immediately smugly raised chin, bit a mouthful of grilled sausage, face immediately sweated. He ate half the sausage, saw I still said nothing, cold help humming, spoke first himself. Why today not asking about Willow like mist? Yeah. My eyes widened then, looked at homeroom father's face. I knew long ago. Warily scanned surroundings, then pulled him over. Lowered voice asked, how did you know? How else would I know? Homeroom father pouted, glanced at me. So many years. You talking always hinting. To Willow like mist. Only an idiot would ENT, said then glanced at me again. I really feared this cold would freeze his eyeballs. Your brain when studying had that bit of knowledge still want to fool me. Dream on. He threw the bamboo skewer into trash, opened mouth to advise me. Willow like mist now still single. Like her then go pursue. I shook my head, stared at the grill. Dazed without speaking. Waited until I came to raised head. Saw before me no one left. This old homeroom father left without even saying goodbye. Did I say a few words and he held grudge? Could it be narrow-minded people can earn money? I looked at the fluttering snow in the sky. Snow getting bigger. Gradually, the whole world dyed pure white. On the small stall's canopy, hung full of transparent icicles. I broke one to play in hand. In the previous life, I especially liked using hands frozen from playing snow, to rub on Willow like mist's face, wait for her to pretend angry, then pull open down jacket to hug her, fingertips frozen red, icicle in hand also melted clean. I touched the snow canopy, just about to forcefully fold it, unexpectedly saw a familiar person in front. Long time no see. Willow like mist stood in the snow, tilted head smiling at me. She pulled down her scarf, revealed cheeks frozen red. In just those few seconds, her head quickly covered with a thin layer of snow. Willow like mist. You. How you? I hadn't finished surprised. Why she suddenly appeared here. Just saw snow on her hair. Waited until I reacted. Already holding the canopy. Standing beside Willow like mist. Willow like mist looked up at me. Eyes curved. She still makeup beautiful as ever. I felt my cheeks slightly hot. Damn. Winter cold to death. Why didn't you bring umbrella and ran out? I almost said more words. Luckily stopped in time. Swallowed the rest. Willow like mist. Looked at my snow-covered grill. Then raised head looked at me. Snow on eyelashes melted into water drops. She stepped one more step toward me. I felt my heart thump. I came to thank you. Thank what I? Immediately confused by her. Willow. Like mist. Removed scarf placed on arm. Revealed fair neck. I came to thank the person who helped me get back my wallet. Thank the person who painstakingly sent medical money for my father. Thank the person who disguised as costume to make me laugh. And also thank the person who gave me flowers. She said a long string. Each time she said one sentence. My heart trembled once. I didn't dare look into her eyes. Immediately shifted gaze. Stared ahead. Willow like mist, tilted head. I accidentally met her eyes again. That what? Probably, you mistook the person. Willow. Like mist I hadn't finished. Her best friend already from some corner. Rushed out. Hands holding 2 umbrellas. Face like a great detective. She smirked. Pulled phone from pocket. Want to see the surveillance in that alley. Want to hear the amusement park owners testimony. Or want to search Baidu encyclopedia. Finished speaking. She pulled the timid homeroom father beside. Out. Need witness. My head buzzed. Momentarily didn't know what to say. Could only look at homeroom father avoiding eyes. Willow like mist. You're overthinking. I just happened to work there. Oh come on. Still say overthinking. Her best friend and homeroom father in unison. Pouted. Faces clearly I believe you then am a ghost. They made such a fuss. Willow like mist instead laughed. She directed her gaze to me. Looked straight into my eyes. Word by word said. Thank you. My lips moved for a long time. Finally clumsily blurted a sentence. That. Willow, like mist. Don't overthink. Okay, I have to go home. I put the snow canopy on the ground, turned to slip away. As a result wrist tightened, grasped firmly by Willow like mist. I really admired my own spinelessness. She just touched me, half my body already softened. Damn, her hand still soft as in memory. Willow like mist tried pulling me several times, seeing couldn't pull, then came in front of me herself. She pouted unhappily. Looked a bit disappointed. I clearly wanted to pull hand back, but left arm like disobedient. Absolutely no strength. Just then, Willow, like mist suddenly raised head, tiptoed lightly, eyes sparkling looking at me. Do you want to try dating me? Such a direct sentence. Made me hold breath half a beat. I wanted to open mouth to refuse, but head heavy, fundamentally couldn't move. I guessed I caught cold again. I hadn't thought what to say. Willow, like mist's eyes, immediately dimmed. Based on previous life experience, I knew Willow like mist was pretending pitiful. Usually at this time I would pinch her cheek, then smile surrendering. But after all that was previous life, I looked at Willow like mist in front. Really wanted to expose her act, but throat like blocked. Couldn't utter a word. Willow like mist clasped hands together. That exquisitely made up face, thus enlarged before my eyes. Beg you don't refuse me yet. We can start from getting to know again. She didn't give me chance to speak. Finished then extended hand. Hello. Willow like mist. I could feel the hand hanging by my leg trembling. Finally, homeroom father couldn't hold back. Quickly stepped beside me, grabbed my hand, then pressed into Willow like mist's hand. In Willow like mist's eyes full of expectation, I difficultly spoke. My name is Summer Week. Summer Week. This name is really nice. Of course. Given by the person I love. Damn. I really too spineless. Willow like mist just approached me a bit, my mind already completely blank. Even deadlier she smiled at me. Damn. This truly a beauty trap. I surrender. This move indeed effective. At that time I kept avoiding. Finally homeroom father couldn't watch anymore. Slapped my head. This kid. What exactly are you worrying about? Yes. What exactly am I worrying about? I worry am a poor student fundamentally unworthy of her. I worry will ruin her pursuing academic ideals. I worry Willow like Mist will again get postpartum depression. Waited until I rambled all these. Homeroom father slapped my head again. Hit until I dizzy you dating who doesn't have these nonsense. I ask you, being with her will you hurt her? No, I suddenly raised head. Looked at Willow like Mist slowly walking toward me. In my head, seemed a nerve touched. I pushed homeroom father away. Hurriedly ran to Willow like Mist. Eagerly wanting an answer. Willow like Mist. Do you want to marry? Willow like Mist's face flushed red. Beautiful to death. Her lips moved. Softly said, yeah, probably want. I heard. Immediately panicked. What if he treats you badly? If he dares bully you? When you're pregnant, if uncomfortable, what to do? Willow like Mist's eyes rolled. Secretly tilted head glanced. Homeroom father winking at her. Then she immediately cooperated. Face worried nodded. Asked me. Then what to do? Yes. What to do? I panicked until hands clasped together. Just thinking of Willow like Mist. Possibly bullied by others. I already angry want to kill. Willow like Mist's eyes flashed mischief. She grasped my hand. Gently asked. Then will you treat me like that? No, I answered decisively. Felt the tangled nerve in head. Immediately straightened. I looked at my reflection in Willow like Mist's eyes. Extremely sincerely requested her. Willow like Mist. If in future you want to marry, want to find someone who treats you well, can you prioritize considering me? Finished speaking. I hurriedly raised hand to swear. Property certificate all your name. Absolutely not affect your studies. Children matter. Wait until you want to settle, then we discuss. I swear. I will always be by your side. Absolutely. Not let you get postpartum depression again. My words hadn't finished. Willow like Mist already face red reached out. Covered my mouth. What are you saying? You already thinking of marriage and children? She shyly pouted. Whispered in my ear. Want to marry then? First start from boyfriend. I stared at the smile on Willow like Mist's mouth corner. Heart beating like drum. Finally heard homeroom father behind. Exhale long relief. Oh come on. Why are you moved to tears? Only until Willow like Mist's hand touched my eyes. I belatedly realized. Tears had for me given the most instinctive reaction. I spread arms wide. Hugged tight the person I missed day and night. Into my arms. The things that happened after roughly similar to previous life. Only the process went much smoother. Under the almost kneeling guarantee. And the relentless attack with several houses. My lovely father-in-law, though mouth said very satisfied with me, but still couldn't help glaring at me. If it were me, who dared to pursue my family's cabbage? My attitude definitely worse than his. Willow, like Mist, still decided to marry me during graduate school. She saw through all my insecurities. In one time I again tossed unable to sleep. She hugged my face. Very gently said to me, I love you. The person I love. Damn. Who can withstand? Marry. Must marry, immediately. My wedding day. Guests basically no different from previous life. And my side. Because of that alcoholic old man. Neighbors had cut ties with my family long ago. Even phone numbers none. So guests attending. Mostly my and Willow like Mist's classmates. And her maternal relatives. The classmates all extremely shocked. No one expected Willow like Mist. In the end pursued by the poor student me. However, shocked then shocked. Everyone still sent sincere blessings. When Willow like Mist and I went to toast table by table, unexpectedly discovered, homeroom father, secretly wiping tears alone. I was about to go tease him a few sentences. Then saw him gulping water. Saw me. He immediately sniffled, said, next I'm making grilled sausages. Don't put so much chili, okay? My mouth corner twitched. Could only helplessly nod. Turned face saw Willow like Mist's best friend. Mouth full of food. Still playfully winked at me. I thought a bit. Approached to help Willow like Mist rub waist. Softly asked her, what topic does your best friend's novel write? Detective. Oh. Then no wonder. I hugged Willow like Mist forward. Clinked glasses with her best friend. Although I had taken every preventive measure. But Willow like Mist still successfully pregnant. Timing not off by a bit from previous life. I was feeling strange. Carelessly glanced. Saw Willow like Mist's smug eyes. Fine. Truly, guard. 1,000 guard. 10,000. Can't guard against house thief. Like previous life. Willow. Like mist still insisted on giving birth. My lovely in-laws also appeared one after another, vigorously persuaded me, making me the willing one seem like the villain. No choice. Luckily I had prepared for this since marrying Willow like mist, had always been on guard. Early moved factory to the city she studied. Everything arranged properly. I was like a hands-off boss. All day at home, researching recipes. Every day on time delivered meals to Willow like mist. Later casually asked. Only knew people in her lab. All secretly called me 24-hour filial husband. This title not small. If given a certificate even better. I really feared if I slacked a bit, Willow like mist would again get postpartum depression, like previous life. I deliberately went to in-laws' house to play victim. Finally they saw me too embarrassing. Agreed to move in with us. I also secretly took their phones. Read over and over on screen. Big data on postpartum depression. This thing indeed powerful. That day they scrolled short videos. Saw related content. Under the high concern of the whole family. Willow like mist every day smiled very brightly. Smile from the bottom of her heart. I also added the previous life psychologist. On WeChat. Every day, secretly reported. Willow. Like mist's latest situation. Really lucky. Doctor always said everything normal. Until Willow like mist gave birth. Also, no previous life situations occurred. Too good. The person I love, safe and sound. Willow. Like mist out of delivery room and woke. Just opened eyes saw me. Immediately laughed. Scared me to hurriedly remind her careful the incision. I gave birth. Why are your eyes crying like this? Willow. Like mist's hand. Gently stroked my swollen red eyes. She just opened mouth. I couldn't help wanting to cry again. This life also like previous life. Flour sausage ingredient issue still caused uproar. Luckily, I had experience. I directly publicized transparently the entire production line, from sourcing to processing. As a result, because ingredients truly clean, instead became a bit famous. Ah, right. And that old geezer. This life Willow like mist after giving birth. I guarded 24/24 beside her. She every day happily hugged daughter. That old geezer fundamentally no chance to approach Willow like mist. Most important. That year I rarely smart once. After he stabbed me. Immediately went to hospital for injury assessment. That old geezer later appeared once. Just saw face. I threw the injury assessment at his face. I threatened to report police. Directly scared. Not dare appear again. I bought a bunch of sunflowers from the flower shop. Conveniently bought daughter a pot of cactus. Unexpectedly just stepped out of flower shop. Saw Willow like mist. Hugging the little one waving at me. Look quick. It's dad. Dad bought flowers for us. My eye corners curved. Took daughter from Willow like mist's arms. Held the sunflower bunch to the little face. Home. Dad cook for you mother and daughter. Evening I hugged Willow like mist to sleep. In drowsiness suddenly felt her kiss me. Yeah. What is it? I rubbed head into her. Really too sleepy. I vaguely heard her say by ear. Previous life matter. Sorry. You already hardworking running between home and factory. Previous life what? I yawned drowsily. Again burrowed into Willow, like mist's arms. Felt face seemed a bit wet. Not hard. At that time you were just sick. Willow. Like mist's eyes suddenly red. She looked at the loved one sleeping soundly before her. Couldn't help gently patting his face. This fool. This life just started. And planned to avoid her. Luckily I had sharp eyes. Clung tightly not letting go. Just thinking of previous life. Willow like mist lost sleep. She gently crawled out of blanket. Tucked him in again. Then sat by bed opened phone. Looked at the photos taken at amusement park years ago. Almost in the corner of every photo. Could find the figure of a stuffed bear. Willow like mist flipped through each photo. Smiled while tears fell. Her finger stopped at the last photo. That was a high-angle shot. The stuffed bear in the photo. Clumsily, making heart shape. This fool. No wonder this life I still felt to him. The person beside turned over. Hand groped beside. Mumbled calling her wife. Here. Just went to bathroom. Then come back quick hearing his sleep talk. Willow like mist smiled wiping tears. When putting down phone, her eye corner glimpsed in the half-open drawer, revealed a corner of paper. It was clipped in a book. She unconsciously reached out, pulled the paper. She put on light glasses. Eyes behind glasses showed fatigue. On the paper wrote, Moon Plan. Step 1. Drop out. Stay away from Willow like mist. Step 2. Start business as early as possible. To Step 3. Behind only a period. Clearly this fool couldn't think anymore. Sigh. When studying his grades already not good. Hard for him. This plan paper was torn by him from an exam paper. Handwriting like chicken scratches. Willow like mist shook head smiling lightly. Stuffed things back. Then slipped back into blanket. I groggily opened eyes a slit. Because sleepy burrowed deeper. Then extended big arm. Hugged the person I love back into arms. Hee hee. The moon is back in my arms again.